G'day, I'm David G. Sheshnag Yoga Center. What on earth is Kundalini? This video is about the ego. It's a term that irritates me. It's so abstract. It's like God. How do you define the ego? Anyone that's got a heightened sense of self-importance always projecting that other people are egoic, not taking into account any humility on their part, or self-reflection or self-knowledge to do with maybe that projection's like their own heightened self of importance being confronted by someone else who's confident or someone else who's got faith in their own ability. You know, what is the ego and what is egoic and what is egotistical? I don't know, but I'm a bit pissed off with the whole term. It's just the ego speaking. It's like thrown around in the concept of spiritual bypass, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on around the ego, and you can tell by the scrunched up look on my face that I'm a bit like annoyed when it gets thrown around. Like, so the ego may originate, I don't know, but I'm making stuff up. It sort of falls in the category of something to do with Freud or Carl Gustav Jung, as around the persona and the id and the ego, things like that. The way I understand it, if I can explain things in human words that are really conceptual, is according to the Samkhya philosophy that has to do with 23 evolutes of manifestation, prakriti. And in some of those it explains different aspects of the mind, like the Mahat, which is the great mind, great being, and then Buddhi, which is the part that discerns truth from untruth, and then Chitta, which is the accumulated memory of everything. There's and those three things, as well as something called the ahamkara, make up what is called the antakarana, which the antakarana is the inner tool that I use. It's like a vehicle that I use that's separated into different aspects of my mind to be able to function in this world, this reality. So there's a part of me that's the great mind, there's a part of me that's responsible for discernment, there's a part of me that's for memory or the accumulation of vibrations altogether, and then there's the sense of self, which is the ahamkara. So I see the ego as the sense of self, the part of me that says, okay, well, omji has to be somewhere at 9 o'clock in the morning, so me as an individual energetic parcel will coordinate that I put my alarm on and I get ready and I depart from where I am to meet this other energetic parcel in the form of a person or my obligations as a job to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. So the ego is a part of me that works in relation to me being separate from everyone, so I can coordinate my experience of life with other aspects of the whole in the form of other beings. When I see through that sense of self that my sense of self or my energetic parcel is more important or more evolved or more whatever, superior than the other parts of myself, which are reflected by everyone, then through judgment and subconscious neuroses of self-embellishment, I can see myself as more important or be representing myself in a way that appears superior. But in actual fact, it's just a sense of self that's working within me. It gets misconstrued by parts of myself through the filtration of judgment and all this other baloney that goes on to do with life and patterns in my mind that see me as better than someone else. So there you go, that's my video on the ego. According to the Samkhya philosophy, the sense of self. How I see that self, and is that self maintained in a humble way, fully appreciating other parts of itself in the form of other people and all of creation, in service to the underlying substratum of existence, whatever the term for the divine is for you. Are you grounded enough as a being, or am I grounded enough as a being to be subservient to the great being, to bring the divinity of unconditional love into my expression of being in a harmonious way that doesn't get exploited, has boundaries and all that sort of things to do with self-respect and survival and control of myself in the form of the yamas and the niyamas, self-constraints, participating in a culture where I need cultural constraints. So can this sense of self be embodied and not see itself, this has gotten me in trouble before, and not see itself as superior? Sometimes it'd help if I saw myself as inferior, because sometimes I get done and judged because I don't seem to be perceived as being respectful to other people and having an air of familiarity that some people aren't comfortable or confident with, mainly comfortable with, which confronts their own sense of self. So maybe sometimes I should be shown a bit more respect rather than, not feeling the fear and just going up to these people and addressing them like I know them, or like they're open and I don't have a fear that's to do with putting them on a pedestal and seeing them as superior. So who knows? But that's a part of me that's going on in regards to trying to be of service to the whole, trying to address other aspects of myself, knowing that there are aspects of myself that I'm not scared of, but in their own identification of themselves, they could be seeing themselves as, when I interact with them, they don't sit there and go, omji's a part of myself and he's off his head, but he means well and he's got pure intentions. They think, who the heck's this wanker? And why does he address me like he knows me? Like he should have some filters on, at least to do with what he's expressing, maybe. I find that very confrontational, that this bloke called Omji is like so open and direct and specific and asking invasive things about me. That could be ego. Who knows? Anyway, I'm trying to conceptualise something to do with that part of us that's responsible for our self-identification. Wish me luck. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Mahadev. Share the world. Sheshnag.com. Sheshnag Mandia. Peace.